Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hey, and welcome back for another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for this particular episode, I have a very special guest who has not appeared on here for over 59 episodes. And she was there day dot. So 13th episode, chills, thrills, and screams. She was right there. It's been a long time trying to get her back on an episode, which is usually very hard when it's a family member because they don't appreciate you and they're always busy and everything. Hey, Courtney, welcome back.
Appreciate you. That's a bit rough.
See, I wasn't the only one who was happy that you're back.
Thank you, my adoring fans.
So, what have you been up to, or what have you been watching?
What have I been watching lately? Actually, I just finished Bali 2002, the miniseries that was on Stan about the Bali bombings.
Oh, how was that?
It was very eye-opening and very interesting. Because obviously, when that came out, I was in year 12, so probably didn't pay very much attention to what was going on. But yeah, I found that really good.
That's obviously not my type of show, but our old man would be all over that saying you should really watch it. Especially if it was based in Europe, he'd be like, yeah, you should really be watching it.
What else have I been watching?
Yeah. Well, you really like The Boys, didn't you? You finished The Boys, right?
I'm 2 episodes in still. Oh. My apologies.
All right. What about you liked the John Cena one?
Oh,
Peacemaker.
That was hilarious. Every episode,
there we go.
I was just in stitches. It was funny and inappropriate and full of swear words. It was just...
Oh, yeah. And the soundtrack.
Oh, it was amazing. Anything that's 80s really, gets me. We just finished watching Cobra Kai, the season that they just released.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just...
Yeah.
Johnny's character is amazing.
I haven't watched Cobra Kai yet. I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched the original Karate Kid.
Oh, actually, I don't think I've watched them in a really long time either. But they have a lot of flashbacks to it, and if there's a character that pops up that you don't remember, then they'll definitely give you a little backstory about how they're involved in the whole thing.
Oh, well, that's good, because all I remember is the fact that you watch one, but apparently 2 and 3 are very subpar.
Yeah. Actually, I don't
remember.
know if I've seen 3, to be honest. I know I've seen 1 and 2.
No, I could not tell you what 2 is about at all. And I'm pretty sure, I think there's even a Karate Her kid as well. I think there's they tried making a spin-off with a girl as well, I think...
Yes, I think I've seen that advertised as well.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll tap into that.
I hope not.
But no, I think a lot of people are really hoping not as well, because the show's done so well, and it's one of I was mentioning it on a couple episodes ago with my podcast, episodes obviously, is that it's a legacy sequel. Top Gun, Jurassic Park, legacy sequels that are making this, they're not a reboot. The fact that they're actually a sequel to the original, they're making that more money, and they've been better than the reboot altogether.
Yeah. Well, speaking of legacy sequels, So I watched Hocus Pocus 2 last night.
How was that? Because that's 20 years?
29 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't know why they didn't just wait one more year and make it 30 years since the original.
Yeah.
But
how was it? Did it live up to the hype?
it had a good storyline, but it wasn't as... Yeah, it was a little bit more softer, a little bit more heartfelt, pulled at the heartstrings a little bit more than I think the original did.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But, I mean,
yeah.
I enjoyed it. I couldn't keep my eyes off it.
Oh, I know you've been waiting. That's funny enough. The reason why we're currently recording on a Saturday, and that's the reason why we couldn't record last night, because you had to watch that as soon as it dropped.
Yeah, I would have watched it earlier if I could have.
Yeah.
The minute it came out yesterday afternoon, but
Bingo.
had to wait for everyone else, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, so all of you watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. This is the thing with Disney Plus, is that it's a new platform where all these old '90s films can come back in new forms. Like even Willow. Did you ever watch Willow as a kid?
I didn't actually.
Oh,
I do know of it, but I never watched it.
Oh, well, that's getting a resurgence as well. And the Santa Claus at the end of this year.
Yes. There's also it's something like a 2-part series or something.
Yeah, it's a streaming series.
And it has the original Bernard in it.
Yes, he's come back for it. So Santa Claus is 1, 2, 3, and now there'll be the streaming one.
The problem with it, though, is that they're bringing back all these, movies and TV shows, is that everyone has aged a lot. Like in Hocus Pocus last night, the 3 main characters are now 30 years plus. So Bette Midler, who plays Winifred, she's in her 70s.
Yeah.
And, like in the Santa Claus, Bernard, who is supposed to be an elf that doesn't age, well, he looking old.
Yeah, they are. That's the only problem with legacy sequels, is that you realize how old they are and realize how old you are.
Yep. I mean, I don't need reminding of that, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. So what we wanted to do for this episode is we wanted to have a look at the top sitcoms of the 90s and the 2000s, because that's a topic I haven't really touched on at all. Like, last year we did horror, so I thought we would do sitcoms this time around, and I have to make sure that you have to jump on for a Halloween episode at the end of this month.
Yes, I reckon I can do that too.
Good. I'm glad you've got no option. So, interesting enough, I thought it was also good to have you do on this topic, because we have very different sitcoms that we've grown up on. You being 35, me being...
Yeah, that'll do.
me being also almost about to be 30, which is terrifying. Utterly terrifying.
It's only downhill from here.
Oh, well, at least I have my podcast. So if going to IMDb, if we have a look, the top 5 sitcoms of the 90s, number 5 is Roseanne on IMDb, and that has a rating of 7. And that went from 1988 to 2018, which I'm pretty sure that's a stop and start. That hasn't been going the whole time.
No. I remember watching Roseanne. I really enjoyed it. I remember it was one of the first TV shows where one of the characters had to leave. So instead of writing her out, they just replaced her with someone else.
Oh. Like, I remember clips of the show as a kid, but I don't remember watching it at all. But I know, I think there was something controversial on when they rebooted it a couple of years ago.
There was a couple of things that was really odd. So, like in the very last episode of one of the last seasons, the original last season, sorry, the husband in it, Dan, he died. And that's how they ended it. But when they rebooted it, it turns out he didn't die. And he was in it again. And then Roseanne Arnold, who obviously the TV show is based around, during the filming of the new season, apparently said a few inappropriate things, which then got her kicked off the show.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't remember what they were, but yeah.
How'd you getting kicked off your own show?
I know, it's rough.
But yeah, that's number 5.
Sorry, they still continued it without her for a while.
Yeah, they still kept going, as far as I understand. But because this is with John Goodman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't Roseanne? I am 90% sure, but Roseanne has a big connection to The Big Bang Theory.
Oh. Well, one of the guys from The Big Bang Theory was in Roseanne.
Yes, and so was, I don't know if you remember, but do you remember?
Oh, yeah, Sheldon's mum.
Yeah, Sheldon's mum, and another character again.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, I'm pretty sure it's, oh my God, it's Amy. I think Amy was in it as well.
Really?
Very young. It's Amy or... Hang on, I'll check. It's Amy or it's Leonard's first girlfriend in the first season.
Oh, it's not Amy. It's one of Leonard's girlfriends that also works at the school.
Yeah. Yes. Oh.
Yes, was also in it. It was actually, that was his girlfriend in Roseanne.
Yeah. Yeah, still her girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the big connection between... that's a big connection for Roseanne to be Big Bang Theory, which I'm sure it was Amy as well. No, you're right. Yep, it wasn't. Oh, what show was I thinking that Amy was on?
She was in Blossom.
That's it. Blossom. Yeah, that's the show I was thinking of. But completely separate. Now, I think you watched. I think this was one of your favorites. Was Full House one of your favorites?
Oh, I loved Full House.
So Full House is actually number 6, and that has 6.7.
Yeah, I loved Full House. I always wanted to be DJ. I thought she was so cool. And that's why when they rebooted the new seasons, I completely binge watched them.
Yeah, it was Full House, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's light and fluffy. It's, it's a filler-innerer.
Yeah. Well, that ran from 1987 and 1995. And it's funny, when I went to San Fran, that's the first show I thought of when I got on a tram.
Yeah, we went past that house too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when we went to San Fran and did the tour, they took us past the Full House house.
Ah, the Full House house.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Actually, no, it's the Fuller House.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's with the Olsen's twins.
Yes, but there was only one character for both of them to play.
Yes. But what's funny is those two have had a completely different career to the third sister.
The middle sister. No, sorry.
Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth, yes.
When I actually Wikipedia Elizabeth Olsen, I could not believe she was related to them.
She doesn't, I don't know, unless they're all standing together, I don't really think she looks like them.
No, she doesn't. It's only when they're standing together, but besides that, they look like they've had a really rough life compared to her.
I mean, they did all of their acting quite early on, and sort of, I guess, gave it up when they hit their teens. They were like, that's it, I'm done. And now I guess Elizabeth is sort of doing it a bit later in her life.
Yeah, and now she's one of the most sought out actors now.
Wow. I mean,
Uh, what was that?
she's done pretty well.
Well, it seems to be if you land a Marvel contract, you're set up for the next 9 to 10 years.
Especially if you're going to keep making podcasts about Marvel.
Damn right, free content. So number 4. Now I remember we watched this a lot. Home Improvement.
Yes, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, so that's got a 7.2 on IMDb, and that ran from 1991 to 1999. And I remember we watched so many of the episodes of this, and obviously, we watched the Santa Claus.
And then obviously he did the voice of Buzz Lightyear, which Toy Story was huge for you growing up.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's just sad the fact he didn't get to still voice the character in Lightyear.
Yeah, again, probably aged a little bit. I mean, the character in Lightyear is a little bit younger, isn't he?
Yes. Well. Yes, that's correct. But so Home Improvement, only 22 minutes an episode, and it was remember the guy over the fence? You can never see his face.
No, I can't remember his name.
I think it was Wilson.
I can't remember now.
I think it was Wilson. It was. Yeah. It was Wilson. So, oh my God, 203 episodes.
Wow.
That's of that show. I would not guess.
And I reckon we've probably watched 200 of them.
I think so too. Can you even watch Home Improvement anywhere?
I have not seen it on anything yet.
No, neither have I, because it's obviously not on Disney Plus. But yeah, no, that was I remember watching that. And number 3, Frasier, 8.2.
Now I know that you binged watched all of that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did binge watch all that. All 12 seasons of that show, and I didn't know until the very end the fact that it's actually a spin-off show.
From Cheers, isn't it? It was the same character he played in Cheers.
Yeah, 263 episodes from 1993 to 2004. Yeah, and I didn't know it was a spin-off. I was like, what?
I think I've seen a few episodes, but not actually sat down to watch them. Like they've just been on the telly and, I've watched a few.
Yeah. It's, from what I remember, it's the same thing with kind of like with Friends. Those first.
Yeah.
That first 1-2 seasons is so grainy.
Yeah, it is. The quality is very low.
Yeah, so bad. But that show ran so long, and they're even talking about a reboot
of Frasier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's talking about a reboot with Kelsey Grammer, but unfortunately, the dad won't be in it because he passed away.
I did not know that.
Well, there's a little tidbit. I enjoyed the show. There was some stuff I didn't get because it was just the references, but I found it a pretty funny show. But I never want to binge watch it again. I'm like, good. I'm like, I don't need to go back.
Now,
to this.
what two people from that show will also play brothers in another show?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yes. The Simpsons. Yes, so Niles and Frasier obviously play Sideshow Bob and
I've got no idea.
Brother's name.
That's it.
Cecil, yeah. So they both play the character. And I think Niles was in Hellboy as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He played the blue guy in the suit.
I don't remember Hellboy. I think I saw it once a very long time ago.
Yeah. But then they say Frasier had a Jack Russell as his pet. Oh no, the dad had a Jack Russell as a pet. So good choice.
Yes, you can relate to that, can you?
Uh, yeah, I can. Having my own wiry Jack Russell currently eating his bone. Now number two. This kind of both goes on both top 90s and top 2000s, only just. This ran from 1994 to 2004. It is regarded as one of the top sitcoms of all time. It has an 8.9 rating on IMDb. Maddie and I, a few months ago, actually binged this all the way through, which is Friends.
Binging it all the way through, that's a good effort.
Yeah, we went all the way. Yeah, we went all the way through, and again, Friends' first season is grainy as anything. Oh, being so used to every new show, obviously being HD and 1080p and everything. Just watching that, it's like this is hard.
Yeah.
Which this show launched so many people's careers and in different avenues. It was, I remember, the final of Friends and people talking about that. And obviously Joey got his own TV show that completely bombed.
Yes, it did.
And arguably the biggest person from that entire cast that you still hear about today is Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. I mean, between her and maybe in the early 2000s, Courtney Cox, apart from that, you don't really hear much about the others.
No, I think Joey got another TV show, and Matt LeBlanc was in a couple of movies, but that was about it.
You mean Matthew Perry?
Ended. Sorry, Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry. Yeah, so that's kind of what they did. But were you watching it religiously? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure I watched it when it first came out, but then over the last couple of years, they've been playing it on TV around about dinner time. So we've all been sitting there watching it, and it's just on repeat. I reckon they must play it 3 times a year on that same time slot. And it actually, after about the 4th or 5th time, I actually said, okay, that's it. We need to find something else to watch. But I think it was... Yeah.
We need to watch something else.
Like, I do think it's very iconic. Like, they often say you're either a Friends fan or a Seinfeld fan, and I'm definitely Friends. I couldn't really get into Seinfeld.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say it because Seinfeld is number 1, and that went from 1989 to 1998, and that's got 8.9 IMDb. And I can tell you that I've only seen clips. I've never actually sit down and watched a full episode.
I can remember
Seinfeld.
sitting down to watch the very last episode of it. I mean, I've obviously seen episodes over the years, and I've seen where a lot of the jokes have come from, that people still reference quite often. But the only episode I ever remember sitting down to watch was the very last one. When they all got carted off to jail for all the shitty things that they did. And it basically launched the Green Day song, Time of Your Life.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But when we went to America, Mark did want to go see the diner, which there is a
I think
you can still go to the diner technically.
I think some of these things you just have to. Like, I think if somebody said to me, do you want to go see the diner where Seinfeld was filmed, I would probably say yes also.
Yeah, I'll go. And, it's funny actually, the Julia from that show, she's actually now in the MCU as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's kind of playing like a female version of Nick Fury.
Right, okay.
She's been in Black Widow, and she's been also in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show.
I did not know that. There you go.
Yeah, so she's made her MCU debut, and the only thing I can really tell you about Jerry Seinfeld is the fact that he's in the B movie, and he also did a TV show, Driving with Comedians, in different cars.
Didn't know about the Driving with Comedians. I just knew about the B movie.
Yeah, and I cannot tell you anything else he's done off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've never watched it. Couldn't get in. Like, I've seen clips, but no clips. Not like Friends, where I'm like, okay, I could watch a whole episode. Seinfeld, I'm like, nah, I can't.
I think it just depends on the person. That's all. I think it just depends what you're into, what you enjoy watching.
Yeah, like
what type of humor you like.
That's right. But speaking of Seinfeld and Friends, so they're, because, well, not so much Seinfeld, but Friends is still obviously the top 2000 sitcom. But if we go to something more modern down that list, I'll start with number 8 because we both watch this. But How I Met Your Mother, 8.3 on IMDb for the top 2000 sitcoms from 2005 to 2014.
I definitely watched all 200 plus episodes of that.
Would you like to know the exact number you watched?
Yes.
208 episodes.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't enjoy about that show was probably the ending.
Spoil it. Yeah.
I just feel like, I don't know, like I loved it. I loved the, love triangle, love stories between all of the, and again, what we were talking about, friends living in an apartment. Like, how many TV shows have they made about a group of friends living in an apartment together?
Well, I know. New Girl.
Yep. But
and Barney.
Like, he's one of the most iconic characters ever.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you walk around just going, have you met Ted?
Yeah, have you met? Or Legend Dairy.
Yeah.
I know. And like, I watched many episodes. I didn't go all the way through, but I do know that the ending kind of like upset a lot of people.
I just think that, for me personally, I just think that the whole mother aspect of it could have been in it earlier. There could have been more about her, not just, the final season where they see all the bits where she had popped into it. And then for him not to end up with her and end up with Robin.
I know. I know.
I don't know.
That's it. It seemed such like a cheat. Seemed like such a cheat ending because it's like, I understand why they did it because you've learned so much about Robin, but it's like How I Met Your Mother, not how I'm going to move on from your mother.
I don't know. It just felt like the last season was a bit of a cop-out, like a bit of a rush job,
Yeah. Well,
like they kept going with all these other stories for so long because the TV show was doing so well. And then when they decided to end it,
well, that's
just my personal opinion.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's always, you never know in a TV show is like how much notice did they get before they knew that the curtain call, and the fact if they knew so much in advance, then that's on them. But if they didn't, then you can't blame them.
Yeah.
But another show, which is personally one of my favorites, because unfortunately I relate a lot to it. Well, it's not unfortunately, I just relate a lot to it, is Big Bang Theory, which ran from 2007 to 2019 with an 8.2 on IMDb.
Explain to me exactly how you relate to this.
So,
is it because you're smart like they are?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
of
I thought.
course.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah,
I watched most of those episodes too. I enjoyed that TV series.
so did I. I was gutted when it ended, and like that's the reason. So so I've May and I went back and we actually binge watched it from the very start, leading up to the last season.
Yeah.
So we went all the way through, and then because we finished that, that's why we went on and binged Friends. But there's so many big cameos in it, and so it's great characters, and the ending was just sad. That's how it all. Almost all of them got a good ending except for Raj.
Yeah, I actually don't. I know I watched it, but I don't really remember.
Because they were at the acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize, and then
Yes.
Raj was sitting there with Buffy.
Yep. I do remember that bit.
Oh, complete side point. Buffy is currently going to be in a new horror TV show that you might be interested in. I think called Wolf something.
Yeah, don't worry. I follow her on the gram. I know what's going on.
All right. Well, I thought you would. Well, just in case.
And I may have just watched a movie recently because I knew she was in it. It has just come out.
What's that?
Do Revenge.
Yeah, never heard of it.
No, it's new on Netflix. She has like the smallest part in it. But anyways.
But she was a scream queen in the early 90s, wasn't she?
She did. I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then Scream 2.
Yeah. And The Ring. Wasn't it the original Ring?
No, she was in The Grudge.
The Grudge. That's it. Yeah. And but yeah, I saw that and I thought about you instantly. But if we keep moving on, moving up, The Office with a rating of 9, which The Office is more highly rated than both Friends and Seinfeld on IMDb.
And it's well deserved too. It has to be one of the greatest shows ever. And I know that it was originally a British show.
Yep.
I have never watched that.
With oh my god, his name just escapes me. The guy from Afterlife.
Yep, I can't think of it either.
Oh, shoot me. Hang on, I'll find it.
Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so, Steve Carell took over the role. And with Office, it's almost in the same kind of vein as Family Guy, that there is so many clips of just that on TikTok, Instagram, and people constantly quote it.
I think anything, I will always rewatch anything that has a scene with Jim and Dwight in it.
Identity theft is a serious crime.
Especially that one when Jim got that Asian guy to come in and pretend to be him.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you for not noticing race.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to say it. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. So 188 episodes the show went for. 2005 to 2013. Steve Carell did leave the show early, apparently due to contract issues. Apparently that's why he left the show early, and he was comfortable that he was leaving. Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, he made his own cookbook that you can go buy.
I hope it has him scooping up. What was it? Chili that he made?
That big chili cook-off.
Yeah, and he spilled the pot. I hope the cover is him scooping up the chili.
Oh, but I hope so too. I've never watched The Office all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces, and it's interesting knowing that. I don't think it would have worked, but knowing that Jim was almost going to be Captain America.
Yeah, I think he should have. He got robbed there.
because it was between him and Chris Evans.
Yeah.
But hey, he got on. He went on to go play Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then he was turned to spaghetti.
Yeah. Which was devastating.
I know look, trust me, I think he'll make another appearance.
I hope so.
The Office is just. I don't know anyone who dislikes The Office at all. I don't know anyone.
I think that even when Steve Carell left, people didn't stop watching because it didn't take away from all the other storylines that had already been built up with the other characters.
No,
I mean, Pam and Jim had one of the greatest love stories on TV.
Yes.
You know,
fully agree.
So, like, I think it was sad that he left. Like, he was a great character, but I still continued to watch the show just for the rest of them.
And that's the thing. That's like a testament to the show that if the lead leaves, you can keep going. Because this next show I'm going to talk about, we can both agree the last season was shit.
Ugh.
Well, this has got an 8.4 on IMDb, but it's one of the fan favorites for the 2000s as well. And this ran from 2001 to 2010. And I remember us watching this at family dinner on a Thursday or Friday night, whatever, after Home and Away. Scrubs.
Scrubs was amazing.
Scrubs was so good.
Scrubs was so good. Like, a few years ago went back and actually binged watched that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, I don't really remember the last season though.
No, so his last season was the fact that they went to the university and they'll try and bring in all these new doctors and everything, but they only had a couple from the original cast.
Oh, yes. Vaguely remember.
You know, and they ended the previous season so well because JD was walking out. He was saying goodbye to everyone. He watched the whole reel of his life and future, and he said goodbye. And then they tried to milk out one more season.
Actually, yeah, I do remember that. You thought that was it? It was done?
Yeah. And he only popped past me now and then to... I don't think it was in every single episode, but in the last season. No one likes the last season. But, everyone I know loves the show. It's such a quotable 182 episodes, and Dr. Cox.
Oh, my God.
Being the janitor.
Oh, him and the janitor. That was hilarious. And how funny was it when the people would ask the janitor if he was in... Oh, what was that movie? The Fugitive. They would always bring that up about him being in The Fugitive.
That's right. And it was all because he put a key... all that rivalry between JD and janitor all started just because he put a key in the door.
Yep.
But Scrubs is so good to watch, and it's still so funny. I'm trying to get May to watch it, but she won't.
Oh, she's missing out.
Oh, no. That's what I tell her.
The chemistry between JD and Turk and the way that they just bounce off each other, and, still to today, they're still mates.
They are, and they have their own podcast.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they have their own podcast. I'm pretty sure they go through the Scrubs, like a recap kind of thing.
You know what? That seems to be a very common thing these days as well. So,
yes.
Who else does it?
Well, actually, I was going to mention the other people that are doing it is if any Smallville fans, both, I forgot Clark and Lex, the actors, they've got their own podcast as well, and they're actually going through Smallville.
Oh, see, I'm a bit of a One Tree Hill fan. Sorry, that was a bit hard to get out.
Oh,
and
gross.
The girls from that are also doing that. Every episode, they sit down and go through it.
Really, I can honestly see something like that format is perfect for podcasting.
Yeah, and
You know,
actually, sorry, again, the girls from The Office do it.
oh really? I didn't know that.
I know that it's Pam and Angela.
Yeah. But no, that's and that's the thing is like it's almost like you get long because when you used to buy the DVD and then you hear all the tidbits over the whole season, like you get to hear all the tidbits to the whole actually proper. Like they might not go through every single episode, but if they do, it's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's almost a revisit, like 10 years later, 15 years later.
yeah. I think it's good to hear it from sort of like a behind the scenes their perspective, because obviously we are just watching the characters that they play.
Yeah.
Not, they then talk about how it was to prepare for that scene and how many takes it took to do that scene, and sort of things like that. And like I find that really interesting.
Well, that's right. And I feel like because of the format of being a podcast and because it's so many years later, they can be kind of like more open and honest about it, opposed to being on a DVD commentary.
Yeah. Yep. And I suppose, a lot happened back then when they were filming those shows, and it's probably all out in the open now. So now they can just talk about it freely.
Yeah. Yes, because once you do the DVD commentary, you were still going on to the next season.
Yep.
So you couldn't say too much. But, that's the same thing with Scrubs. And another show, which I did not watch this, but everyone does love it, is Modern Family.
Yes, Modern Family is good. Good. We quite often rewatch that.
2009 to 2020, an 8.5 on IMDb.
The parents in that are they're hilarious. Like,
yeah.
Was it Phil? Phil, I would love for Phil to be my dad.
Yeah. Well, it's Modern Family would have to be one of those shows again, just like Scrubs and The Office. You see always reels of it in TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
And quotable. So 250 episodes, and that's done so well. And I can't think of many people who have gone on to do different things, but different career-wise they have. Not so much in film-wise, but even Jay's from Married with Children.
Yep. And
did you know that it's because it's a prop, but if you go back and look at How I Married with Children, if you watch the newspaper that he's reading, it's the same copy in Modern Family.
Oh, really? Is it the same? Does he just read the same newspaper over and over again?
Yeah, it's the same newspaper.
I did not know that.
There's a little tidbit for you. But yeah, it's because I remember seeing someone posting saying, wow, it's taking him a really long time to read that newspaper. And another one, now I haven't watched this all the way through, Parks and Rec.
Oh my God. I watched
8 points.
I watched all of Parks and Rec.
8.6 IMDb. Ron Swanson, it has to be a great spirit animal.
I wish he was my spirit animal.
He has one of the best responses that I always see on Bunnings memes, and it's like he goes, "Oh, you're working on a project? I know more than you," and keeps going. Or the other one's my favorite is when he finds the fakin. He's like, "Oh, would you like to try this fakin? It's bacon but vegan." Sure. Throws in the bin. Throws in the bin. Throws in the bin. But yeah, and that is also where Chris Pratt got his starting role.
Yes, you actually see him transform quite a lot over the seasons. He started out, I want to say this delicately. Hefty. Yeah, there was a few extra kilos. And then
you can say hefty. That's not an aggressive term.
And then by the end of it, he's like bulked up.
Yeah, it's because of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why a lot of people, when they first heard that Chris Pratt got the role for Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, there was some negative feedback because of how he looked in Parks and Rec. People were like, how are you going to play a superhero?
Well, clearly they underestimated him, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, and I think that would have driven him. And I still, to this day, cannot believe the fact that he's playing Mario.
Is he?
Yeah, did you know that they are making a Mario movie with the same company that makes Despicable Me and the Minions and Sing? They've teamed up. A trailer is actually going to drop at the end of this month. But yes, Chris Pratt is playing Mario.
Is it just his voice or is it a live action?
Just his voice.
Okay.
So, and I don't feel it's justified, but the original voice actor for Mario is still alive, and he's going to be in the movie, but he can't play his most infamous character.
I mean, I could be wrong here, but Mario doesn't have a lot of lines. I mean, if you're referring to the video game, all you ever get is, it's me, Mario.
Hey, that's iconic. Print it. That's money. And I do know that April, his girlfriend, her and I can't remember the name of the chick from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They were like the both two fan picks to play the She-Hulk. To play, people were tipping them to play the role.
Okay. I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
Oh, what are you doing? We're already 6 episodes deep. You're using my Disney Plus account.
I just finished Miss Marvel.
Oh, what did you think?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really well done. Thought it was really interesting.
Oh, that's good. I liked it, but I will say that halfway I was bored until I got about the halfway point. It wasn't grabbing me. I'm like, yes, I understand everything going on, but you're not enticing me to keep going.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of episodes in the middle where I was a little like, oh. But otherwise,
yeah, it was a bit of a drop.
I enjoyed it.
So did I. Probably the next one, which will just to finish off our list, would be the next one down would be Happy Endings, but I've never watched that. But that has a 7.8 on IMDb. Then there's The New Girl, which has 7.7, and after that is 2.5 Men. I would think 2.5 Men would be higher.
Yeah, I think. I mean, out of those three, I have watched all of New Girl. New Girl is hilarious.
Yeah, I still can't believe that's her sister in Bones.
Yes, it is. And I mean, if you've watched New Girl, then you would know the line 29, which
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's because you haven't watched it, which you should be saying because you are 29.
Yeah, I know. I'll put on the list with everything else I watch between Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, and one Mark keeps preaching on to me to watch is Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I have heard good things about Ted Lasso. Haven't started it myself, but I have definitely heard good things about it.
I haven't heard one bad thing from it, and it's funny enough those main characters are all now going to be in the next FIFA game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've all been immortalized into the game. That's how popular show is.
Well, it did win a lot of awards.
Yes, it has. It's just on the one streaming service that I don't have.
Oh, that's because you don't know the right people. I do have Apple.
Oh, then I'll take it from you. Because for anyone who wants to know, No, that's to be fair. I do have your Paramount Plus
Isn't
account.
this what brothers and sisters are supposed to do? I mean, we share.
Oh, that's right. I've got your Stan.
I've got your Prime.
You got Prime. You've got my Disney Plus.
You've got my
You've got
Paramount.
I've got your Spotify.
No, I've got your Spotify.
You've got my Spotify. Yeah, I know. I think that's all the streaming services because I'm using Maddie and Maddie's mum's Netflix.
Well, you can definitely have my Apple.
Oh, thank you. Because like Mark was the one who got me onto The Boys. So he keeps telling me, he's like, well, look, I was right about The Boys, so you should watch Ted Lasso to prove my point. So out of all those shows that we've mentioned, Courtney, what would you say is your favorite and that you can go back to any time?
Out of all those ones that we've talked about today, I would probably have to say The Office. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually started rewatching it a few years ago after I had my second child and had to sit up late feeding. That was my go-to. I would put The Office on. And I think one of my favourite episodes of all time would have to be the one where Pam and Jim get married. I don't know how many times I watched that. It still makes me cry.
Aww, that's so cute. I can't remember that episode. I thought you were going to say maybe the parkour episode.
Oh my God. We so often say parkour in our house, and that's what, like, I had to show my daughter the video of it so she knew why I was always saying it.
Like, why do you keep saying this word?
Now she just, every time she jumps on something, she goes, parkour.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when they get older, you have to show them these shows, you know, and, it's going to be sad that when I ever have kids and I'll have to show them the MCU, I'm like, we have a lot to get through. And Maddie has banned me from, if we do have kids, making them wait 12 months to watch between Infinity War and Endgame because I want them to feel the same pain I did.
Yeah, I think that's a bit much.
I don't think so. I think that's totally fair.
Unnecessary.
It was the longest 12 months of my life.
I mean, it was a long time. But
it was, yeah, exactly.
I don't think you need to put your children through that.
Yeah, one day. One day. But look, Courtney, I just want to say thank you very much for jumping on this episode. It's been a real pleasure talking to you about all this. And like as I said, like I haven't dived into any of these shows, but so it's been really a lot of fun to talk about them and do a deep dive. And actually, interesting enough, seeing on IMDb what is people's favorites and what's rated the highest. Like as I said, the most surprising one for me was 2.5. Like was it? Happy Endings is higher than 2.5 Men. I don't know anyone that if I say Happy Endings, I feel like 2.5 Men is more well known.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, I have watched both of them, but yes, I would have to agree with that 2.5 Men would probably be bigger.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? It could be. It could be because the last couple of seasons with Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
That's why I'd say maybe it's lower. If they ended it with Charlie Sheen, it'd be a lot higher.
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah. But no, and look, thank you very much for everyone listening. It's been an absolute. Thank you very much for tuning for this episode. And Courtney, I hope to see you for our Halloween episode at this end of this year. End of this month. Oh my god. But do you have any final things to say?
No, not really. Just thanks for having me. I'm sorry it took me so long to come back.
Well, we'll make sure the gap's a lot smaller this time around because pretty much everyone has come back for a second episode. You were the last person I need to catch.
Wow. Saving the best for last, isn't it? The way the saying goes. I couldn't get it out now. Been talking too much.
No, that's all right. It's all right. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining this episode. And until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.